Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel, Avalee and Me. If you're new to our channel, thank you for stopping by and spending some time with us. This video is completely different from all the videos we've done before. For starters, it's just me, and it's a special video for you guys, you mommies, daddies, and everyone in between who's been working hard from Sunday to Sunday with no breaks. So, grab yourself a little something special, and let's sip and paint together. What's in your cup? Huh? Now, you don't have to grab you some wine. Of course not. You want something a little bit stronger because you deserve it? Go right ahead. Or you want something relaxing, like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, a cup of hot chocolate. This is fall, of course. Grab you that. Or maybe you want something to give you a little boost of energy, like a smoothie. Sure, this is a really comfortable, safe space. We don't judge, we don't discriminate. We just want you to grab something that you enjoy because this is about you. All right. So I'm going to change the angle of the camera because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing, step by step, so that you don't feel a little bit left out, right? Got some relaxing music in the background. Got my drink, got my brushes, bam. I got my pad right here, right? And I'm ready to get started. So I know it's really weird sometimes to do things for yourself because we're so used to doing so much for so many people that we don't actually know how to relax and make it about us. But I want you to really try, because as mommies or daddies or anyone that take care of other people, we get burnt out and we deserve something as fun and relaxing as a sip and paint. But I know some of us can't get out right now, so I decided to bring the sip and paint at home to you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so I'm ready to get started. I hope you are too. Let's go. All right, so I am ready to get started, but of course, before I begin, gotta make sure that baby monitor is nearby. So this is my paper. This is my acrylic paper. And now I'm going to find a brush that I'm going to use today. So I want something a little bit broad. You can use somebody like this because it's going to cover the surface really fast. And you want to make this as quick as possible. But I think I'm going to use something a little bit smaller. I think I'm going to go with one of these guys. See? So it's a broad flat brush. It's going to be a little bit more tedious to use, but if you have something like this that you prefer using, something broader. The thing about these brushes though, they absorb so much of your paint that you're going to have to constantly be dipping it into the paint, but it can work. That's fine. I probably will use this to make it a little bit faster. So for our background, of course, I'm going to use a little bit of this brown paint. I'm going to place it onto my palette that I'm using. Okay, so I just need a little bit of this, and I think I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of this beige or nude color. I think it has the name peach. It's not really that much of a peach, but it's really pretty. So I'm gonna take my brush. It doesn't need to be that wet, just a little bit. I'm gonna mix it in like that. So it has like the two colors at the tip of the brush. Then on my paper, I'm gonna start going up and down. Grab some more paint. And you notice I don't have paper down in the bottom of my surface. And that's because the paint can actually be wiped off. This acrylic paint is non-toxic and it's permanent finish, but it's also easy to clean up. So I want this marble effect of colors. So you have the music in the background. I'm nice and relaxed. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep painting. And I wanna make sure I color the entire surface. Okay, so from the tip to the tip. If you're using a very expensive bottom here, like a surface, you might want to put some paper down. Of course, put some newspaper, plastic, something that can absorb paint and won't ruin your surface. This is my workstation, so I don't mind, and I can always wipe off the paint off of this table as soon as I'm done. So I'm just covering the surface, and like I told you, if you use a brush that's like this, you're gonna have to constantly be adding paint. A little bit of water. So this is my background. Nice shades of brown. This is a lot of work, right? You're using your arms, the muscle, but it's not too bad, you know? It's not like the work that we do constantly from day to day. This is more of a relaxing and satisfying kind of work because you're using some creativity and a little bit of your arm muscle. If you need to take a second to reapply some more paint to your palette, you can do so. So I'm almost finished. Just got this end now to do. And as you can tell, it's getting a little bit lighter over here, and that's because it's saturated with water. So I may need to add a little bit more brown. Like so. And the good thing about the acrylic paper that we're using, my paper is not tearing, it's not bending. If you use a thinner paper, that would happen. So that's it. That's my background. And it's starting to dry really fast, so that's good. Got some of the bristles here that I'm just gonna take off, like so. Alright, so while your background is drying, I want you to go ahead and grab you your drink. Take a little sip. Because yes, you deserve it. You're working so hard, you're creating such a great masterpiece, and you need a little break. Now, as you can tell from the colors, it already looks like a fall painting. It has these really nice tones of brown. Perfect for what we're going to do next. So I want you to find a small brush. And what is a small brush? Now, we're not going to get technical into the types of brush, the numbers on the brush, none of that stuff. I just want you to find a small brush. It can look something like this, right? It can look like that. Or it can be a little bit bigger, like this. But I just need you to find a brush that looks like this because we're going to make some lines in between, and I want you to have a nice skinny brush, okay? Now you need a darker brown. If your brown looks like this, then you're going to add a little black to it to make it darker. If not, we can use black. But if you have a darker brown, I want you to go ahead and grab that because that's what we're going to use now. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit of the black and the brown together because I want the same color of a brown, but I don't want it to be so light because then it will blend into my background. So I'm just mixing the colors. If it gets too dark, just add a little bit more brown. And I think I'm a little satisfied with this brown. So that brown looks pretty good. I can work with that. So now, make sure it's nice and dry. If not, you can give it some more time. I want you to make some lines going down. Don't have to be perfect lines. I just want you to go from top to bottom. Like that. I think I'm gonna go with a smaller brush. Get some water. Pick up some of the brown paint right here. The brown paint that we mixed. And I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna make, yep, this brush is a lot better. Skinny line coming down. This is our background, so it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just making sure it has some character at the back. And I'm just going from top to bottom. Now that broad line that you have, you're like, oh no, I don't like how it looks. It's too broad. We can just go back with some more paint and just clean it up. As you can see, I'm just going top to bottom, right? So this part that was so broad, we're gonna go back in with our brush and we'll make it disappear. Grab some more of that brown paint that we were working with, and then we're just gonna go over it. It may take a little while to disappear, but just add some more paint and it'll go away. It's like an eraser. So now that that line is gone, I'm gonna go back with my skinny brush into that brown that we created together, that we mixed some of the black and brown together. And I'm just gonna go right back over that section that we just erased. And I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a skinny line coming down. So this is your background, like I said. So how do we create wood? See, wood has character. It gives texture. It usually has like some lines coming down, right? Little brushes of lines. And I'm really light with my brush right now, right? I'm not going too heavy on it. I'm just making some lines coming around. Little strokes, really light with my brush. Add a little bit of water, and I'm just making some lines. Really light with the tip of my brush, and I'm coming up and down. And I want you to do this throughout the entire thing. Just some lines going up and down. This is your background, so don't focus too much on it being perfect. I just want you to put some light lines with your brush. Add a little bit of water, makes the brush easy to move and flow. Some lines, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just adding a little bit of a texture in the background. So texture basically is exactly what we're doing. We're making it not look so flat, but looked a little bit more depth, you know? So it kind of looks like a little tiger stripes right now going on. But don't worry, we'll fix that up and we'll make it look a lot better in a few minutes. But you want to give it some time to dry. And as it dries, we can add some more details to it. Like for instance, since our background is sort of our wood base, what are some things that we see in wood? We see a little bit of spots. We see these weird ridges of texture. Right? Okay, wood is not perfect. They got some circles. Don't think too hard on this. Remember, we're just trying to make it look like some wood in the background. And then we're going to put a little bit more of the black into the brown. All right? Just a little bit of the black with the brown, just so that it's a little bit darker. Because I want you to go back into the crease that we first started with, and I want you to make it a little bit thicker. Add a little bit more black. Because it's going to distinctively show that this is a plank of wood. So you're probably saying, wait, so why did we erase the first one? You know, sometimes that's what happens. You kind of work it out as you go. And I haven't practiced with this piece before, so I'm doing a very first never before piece with you. I just thought since it's fall that we should do something pumpkin inspired. So I'm just making the lines a little bit darker to show that, hey, this is one plank and this is the other. And I'm just pressing down on my brush to make it a little bit broader. Right? I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. My lines aren't straight. As you can tell, I didn't pull out a ruler. I'm not thinking too hard on them. So now I have my planks. If you want, you can go back and add some more lines on your wood, you know, to give it more texture. And with acrylic paint, it tends to get dry really quickly, not like your water paint, so you just want to add a little bit of water, not too much, but it makes the brush easier to move forward. All right, again, take a break, let it dry. Grab your drink and take a sip because you're working so hard. Good job. So now we're on to my favorite part. Now, have you ever seen a white pumpkin? I've been seeing that a lot lately. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really pretty because it's different. But we don't have to use white pumpkin. We can do an orange pumpkin, traditional. It really depends on what you're feeling like. But how interesting would it be to have a white pumpkin? What do you think? Should we try it? I think we should try it. Why not? Why not? So here's my white paint. The white will really show up on this kind of like look. But I'm kind of nervous. I like the traditional orange pumpkin. You know what? Let's stick with traditional. We're going to get some orange paint. And I want you to put your orange paint right here. Now it's really orange. So you might want to add a little bit of brown as well nearby. So I'm just going to put a drop or two of brown because we're going to have to add some colors together to really give you a nice fall pumpkin. So these are my colors that I'm using. The same colors that we were using before. I want a brush that's a little bit bigger than the one I was using before. So I think I'm going to go with this brush. Because if I use a tiny brush, boy, when will I finish? So here's my orange. And I'm going to play around with some color. I'm going to put some of the orange first. Put a little bit of the brown until I'm satisfied with how that looks. Yeah, I like this one. This one looks good. So pumpkins. Pumpkins are very special. So I'm going to start right here in the middle. I'm just going to make a little bit of a curve. Like so. Yeah, like that. And then I'm just going to fill it in. What are some of your favorite things to do during fall? And if it's not fall where you are, what are some fun things to do in October? I'm really excited to celebrate fall with my little one. I'm not sure we're going to do Halloween, but there's so many cool things about fall. Going to the park and watching the leaves pile up. It's fun to play in that. There's a lot of fall activities around, hay rides and apple picking. There you go. Looks very pumpkin oriented. Now we have to add some more of those little sections. So I'm just going to keep mixing paint until I'm like, yeah, I like that orange. So I'm going to make another one right here. Another curve. And then another curve right here. Like so. Alright. And I'm going to bring it down to the side. I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom because my pumpkin has to have a little bit of a shape. Doing the same to the other side. Right? Like that. Right. And then I'm going to fill it in. Okay. And don't worry, we're going to go back in and we're going to add some more brown and stuff to give us the separated parts. Now here's the really cool thing about art. I am not professionally trained. Art is just something I love doing, something I've been doing for a really long time. But the fact that I'm not professionally trained, I didn't study this, should be a lot of inspiration to you guys. Because you're going to say, oh, but you're an artist. But this is something I enjoy doing. So that's the thing about art. It's something you want to keep practicing with, keep trying, but it has to be something you enjoy doing. Because you don't want it to become work. You don't want it to be like I'm studying what I'm doing really hard, because then it's not going to be something enjoyable anymore. Right? Makes sense? I'm going to put a little bit of brown here because I want to show the separation of that piece right there. So I'm just putting some brown right here. Put a little bit more orange because I realized that it's starting to fade in a little bit with the background, and this is a pumpkin and it's supposed to be nice and orange. So how are you guys doing? Is it working for you? Are you painting along with me? Are you enjoying it? Or are you just enjoy looking at me paint? Either way, I hope you're nice and relaxed, because you deserve a break. We work so hard taking care of everyone else, especially our little ones, that we deserve a little break for ourselves. So I'm just making some more sections right here. I'm just using the tip of my brush. Right? And then one piece right here. That's the back. Might not even see that because we have some more really cool details we want to add to this. So I like the way my pumpkin is coming along. It's not perfect, but it looks like a pumpkin, right? Does yours look like a pumpkin? I hope it does. So I'm just using the tip of my brush. If my brush gets too dry, add a little bit of water. This is my pumpkin. Now don't pay too much attention to this piece at the back because we are going to cover it with something else. But for the most part, this is what your pumpkin should be looking like. Now, like I said, you can go in with some brown in between and help to really show the sections. You can get a skinny brush if you like, or you can use the same brush. Yes, this pumpkin is looking adorable. And it's just something about when you see a pumpkin, you automatically think fall. Pumpkins are picked in fall, decorated in fall. They're just celebrated a little bit more in fall. All right, we're gonna give your pumpkin a chance to dry. Clean off your brush and your water, squeeze it out. And now we're on to another fun part. So now I'm going to get a red color. You don't have to get a bright red, but you want something red. So I'm going to use this bright red paint, but it's not as bright. I don't know why it says bright red. It's not that bright. And I'm going to squeeze a little bit. It's really thick. So that's my red paint. Looks like a little chili pepper. And I'm probably going to add a little more brown because it's all about browns. So I'm going to put a little bit of brown next to it. If you have some brown over here too, you can just use that up as well, so we don't waste any paint. Put a little bit of that here too. Now with that same brush that you're using, we don't need a new brush. put these paints to the side so we have room to work. We're gonna create some flowers. Now, if you like your pumpkin like this and you're like, hey, I'm happy with this, put a little stem with some brown paint, sign at the bottom, you're all done. But if you want to go a little bit further, right, why not? I'm gonna take my brown and I'm gonna add it to my red. Might need to add a little bit of a black because I don't want it to be too red. Ooh, see that color we made? That's red, a little bit of brown, and a little bit of black. We made this really cool color. Now, right here at the top, I want you to make a flower. Now, like I said, I don't want you to think too hard. Your flower are just gonna make some curves. See what I'm doing? I'm just making some circles, some little semicircles right here with this color that's really, really pretty until it makes the shape of like a flower. And I'm gonna put some other colors together. I'm gonna mix some of that same color with that lighter color right here, and I'm gonna go in the inside. And I'm just swirling it all together basically. Then I'm gonna go back in, get some more of the darker one. This music in my background is really soothing. I've always like painting with some music in the background because it's so relaxing, but like seriously, I needed this. And I hope you're enjoying this too because you need this and you deserve it. All right, so I'm gonna do one more at the top because I like that one. I'm gonna add some more detail to it a little bit later, but I'm gonna put one more at the top here. Little curves. Another little curve inside. So flowers, it's like a little abstract flower, right? Doesn't look too perfect, but when you start putting the colors into it, it looks like a flower. Kind of my favorite flower, not too much detail. I'm just filling it in. So it's an abstract flower, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to look like a flower. I'm gonna go back into that light color. And I'm gonna just swirl some of it in. Like so. And as the colors mixed in together, you get really pretty colors all together. Alright, here's another cool one that we're gonna do. We're gonna add another flower, but this one is gonna be a lot lighter. So you're gonna need a little bit of white paint, right? And you're just gonna put one drop onto your paint palette. Oop, I think that was a big drop. So that's my white paint. And I'm gonna mix it with this color that we've been using, right? The brown, make it a little bit lighter. But that's our next flower that we're gonna put here. And if you want, now you can go in and get some of that beautiful color that we made before that looks like a plum color, and we can just swirl that in. Right? How pretty does your flower look? This was really cool. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, this turned out a lot better than I imagined it would have. Because, like I said, I'm doing this with you. We were doing this together. Now, in the center of your flower, you can put a little bit of black, right? A little bit of the black and brown together with a little bit red. So we just want to make it dark in the center. So I'm just going to put some of these colors together. A little bit of touch of the red because I don't want it to look too dark. And I'm just going to come in the center like that. And I'm just going to put that in the center. Now we're down to the wire, the last part. Well, almost the last part. Is some green paint. Alright, put a little bit of green paint because now we gotta add some leaves. Probably put 2 drops of green. I'm using the same brush, not getting too complicated here. Squeeze out some of the water, get some of that green paint. If you want your leaves to be a little bit darker, you can. Just, of course, add a little bit of black or brown, and it gets a really cool color. So you'll get that kind of green. See it? So now I want you to add some branches to the tip of your brush. Come out, and then like so. A little pointy. I'm just using the tip of my brush. Now, do they have professional ways of doing this? Definitely. With the right brush, definitely. But we don't have time for all that. We just want to relax. We just want to do something that's therapeutic. We've had a long day. We just want to relax and do something for us. So that is what we're doing. So you want to just fill this up with some leaves, right? So I think I'm going to do one up here. So I'm just adding leaves to add some greenery, of course. Because it's all about the aesthetics. How are you guys doing? You still there? You hanging in there? You're like, oh no, I'm giving up. This is too much. Slow it down. Pause the video. Come back at it. Say, hey, what did you just do? You can do that. That's a good thing about a video, right? You can pause, play it back again. I'm just trying to fill it in with some leaves, add some texture, some colors. Right? Looks really pretty to me. I think we're doing great. Just gonna be filling them in with some leaves. And we're almost finished, guys. Go ahead, and if you think you need a little break, take a little break. Grab a little drink. Oh, refill. Why not? Go get you a refill. I'll wait. Put the video on pause. I'm right here. Not going anywhere. Alright, so here's my next thing now, my looks trick. I think I'm gonna, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna use some of that light beige color that they call peach that we've been using in the beginning. I think I'm gonna add a little green to that and make a lighter shade of green to come out right here. Yep. That looks pretty. So I'm just adding some more greenery, leaf stuff going on, a little leaf action. And I like the fact that this green gives a nice contrast. So I'm gonna put some more. Yes, why not? Looking good. If you want to add a little bit of yellow, you can do that too. You know, there's some yellow leaves that can come around. Why not? There's no wrong way to do this. Like, this is your creativity. This is your hard work. This is your work. That's all that matters. You did this. I'm just here to help. Tell you you can do this. Encourage you to do your best and not give up. I mean, we love our kids, we love our family, we love taking care of people, but sometimes we just need a little break. We deserve a little break. That's it. We deserve a little break. So I'm gonna put a little bud, a little flower bud, and then I'm gonna come back in and add a little flower to that. So just the bottom here, the little green stems to put the bud. I think I'm gonna put another one at the top, right here. And then I'll put another one over here. Yep. And then I think I'm gonna go in with some orange. If you have some leftover orange, if it hasn't dried up too fast, I'm gonna use that little leftover orange, and then I'll put it at the bottom here. Now it's gonna blend into your pumpkin, so you might want to put some brown, right, or some yellow to it. I think I'm gonna go with a little bit of yellow. And we're coming down to the end. I hope you've enjoyed this so far. Not saying goodbye just yet. So I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow, yes. The yellow is gonna make it stand out. Right, and I think I'm gonna go now and get some of that red, mix it in with my orange paint for my next bud right here. My flower bud needs a little color and contrast. So okay. Alright, so now that's the heart stuff. We are going to just add details. With a small brush, we can add some yellow to our leaves. Just to give it a little more depth. You can mix in with some green if it's a little too harsh too. Alright. So this is the way we're going to add some details and depth to our leaves that look a little bit flat. And flat just means like one color, one note. Alright. There you go. Adding in these little tiny details. And the yellow really brings it out. It kind of looks like a highlight. For you moms who do makeup, highlight makes a difference sometimes. Alright. Just a little bit more. The little tiny brush too is doing a lot of work and giving shape. A little bit of water. Alright, so as I'm finishing up now with some of the details on my leaves, Just mixing and blending, making sure it doesn't look too crazy, too harsh. If it does, just add a little bit more green paint and it'll tone it down a little bit. See? Tones it down. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you've had fun. I am just going to finish up some tiny details and then I'll show you what it looks like. But you can just go ahead and call it a day. Just gonna make sure these ends look a little bit more. I want my pumpkin to stand out a little bit, so I'm just going to add a little bit more brown to the outline. Alright. Not too harsh though. If you feel like you've made it a little too harsh, like I've done in some parts, just go ahead with some orange and come back in. As the orange melts in to the color, it's going to get a little bit lighter. But try not to do too much like I am doing right now, because then you're going to get carried away. Just keep adding and you don't want to mess it up, because then you're going to have to go back and correct. And nobody got time for that. Alright, I am just about finished. Trying to give it some more depth. And I don't want to get too carried away and then end up doing a whole nother painting, right? It may look a little bright right now, but it does start to blend in. Alright. That's it, guys. That's your little fall painting. And of course, when you're done painting, you should always, 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 always sign your name in the corner, because this is your masterpiece. This is what you worked on today, and you are proud of it. So right here in the corner, whatever your little signature is, I'm just going to put an N and a P. Keep it simple. Like so. Ta-da! Well, guys, that was it. We've just done our very first fall painting, and there are going to be so much more to go. So give yourself a round of applause. I hope you've had fun. I hope you were relaxed, because this was a relaxing time together, right? And I hope you were able to complete your little masterpiece, right? So, until next time, sending you peace, sending you love, and sending you light. Cheers.